Hello, everyone. So, as Cameron mentioned, my name is John. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction here at Areteem Institute. And I'm going to talk in a little bit more detail about some of our upcoming courses and instruction opportunities that we have. So the first thing coming up soon, right, our fall term of classes is starting right after Labor Day. We have some courses starting throughout September. And I'll go into a little bit more detail in the coming slides, but I kind of divided these courses for the fall into these four categories. We have our Math Challenge series. Those courses are much more focused towards the different math competitions, and I'll talk a little bit more about the different competitions and what we like about training students and teaching students about those competitions in a little bit. Then we have a couple of accelerated math classes. These provide normal school curriculum, but at an accelerated rate, and allow students to kind of get ahead of their peers or get a year ahead so they can take more advanced classes during their middle school and high school educations. And then we also have physics classes and computer science classes starting up this fall as well. Lastly, right, so these fall classes are all online classes. We also have camps. The next set of camps coming up are our winter camps around the holidays, and I'll talk a little bit more about those in a few minutes as well. So first up, talking about the online math challenge classes. So we divide our classes into 4 terms, so summer, fall, winter, and spring, and we really focus on a single topic each term. So the summer term that we just finished up focused on algebra. We're going to be doing geometry in the fall, then combinatorics, counting, probability in the winter, and then number theory in the spring. And we think these topics are the main ones that come up on the different math competitions and are also just a good foundation of different math topics that students may or may not have in school. And so we like to divide the terms up into those different topics. So a lot of these classes, as I mentioned, are focused on math competitions, right? So we have a list here. The big ones are the AMC competitions, right? AMC 8, 10, 12. And then if you do well on those, you can qualify for the AMY and then the USAMO, USJMO, etc. So we have different levels. So the 1A and 1B classes focus more on the AMC 8 math counts. So if you're not so familiar with these competitions, I'll underline here the numbers, right? So you can think of these just in terms of grade levels roughly as well, right? So the 1A and 1B courses are kind of upper middle school level courses. And then 2A is up to kind of 10th grade, 2B up to 12th grade, and kind of more advanced from there. And so one of the reasons we really like teaching these classes focused on competition prep is even if you have a student who's not into math competitions or hasn't started math competitions yet, really what's important is the problem-solving ability. And these skills, these problem-solving skills, are useful in any walk of life, inside of math, outside of math. These different skills you learn will be helpful the rest of your life. And so even if you're not actually interested in doing the math competitions, the problem-solving skills, the math enrichment that we cover in these courses is very useful as well. Okay, so the next set of classes is our accelerated math classes. So we have 2 classes we're offering in the fall. We have an algebra readiness class. This is geared towards upper elementary or early middle school students who are haven't taken an algebra class yet in school, but might be coming up to kind of an algebra readiness exam. A lot of middle schools give exams to kind of place you in an algebra class or a 7th grade math, 6th grade math. So we have a class preparing for this exam, and it will give students a leg up so they can take that exam, do well on the exam, and kind of make sure that they get ahead so they can take an algebra course as early as possible, and this allows them to get ahead, right, and make sure that they're taking more advanced classes by the time they get into high school. And so similarly, we have a pre-calculus course. The pre-calculus course is meant to be taken concurrently at the same time with an Algebra 2 class, right? So normally you might take Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, pre-calculus, then calculus. Well, this way you might take Algebra 2 and then take our pre-calculus course at the same time, and then hopefully be able to get into calculus the next year, so you kind of save that 1 year of classes. And so as Cameron mentioned before, right, we are WASC accredited. We're more than happy to work with school just to make sure that you get credits that are equivalent to your school requirements, or just kind of make sure you get placed in the calculus class at the end of the term. Okay. So we will have a Q&A session at the end. If you want to ask questions in chat as well, we can try to kind of get to them at when we have a chance during the lecture as well. I'm loading my next slide. I'm having a little trouble here, but we'll see what happens with that. Okay. So I think you might be able to see it. So the next slide is the physics courses. Okay, yeah, so physics courses, we have, again, 2 physics classes we offered for the fall. We have 2 sets kind of going forward. Our first is a physics fundamentals course. This is a first-year honors class if you're taking it as a high school student. The curriculum is oftentimes the same as a first-year college course, kind of a non-major college course. So this is an algebra-based physics class, and it exposes students to the main ideas in physics. And so the fall term will cover thermodynamics. That's one of the main areas of physics. And this, again, is a year-round class where each term will have a different focus, really diving into the fundamentals of physics, so students can kind of get ahead if they want to be taking an AP physics class later on in their high school career. So the other physics class is our Physics Challenge 2 course. This is a calculus-based course, so it will use some calculus. A lot of times people can be taking this course as they're taking it, maybe an AP Calculus AB in school. And so you don't need a lot of calculus, but it will use a little bit of calculus. And so this challenge course does prepare for the Physics C exam. It also will do a lot of problem solving on things you may see in the Physics Olympiad or the kind of F equals MA exam as well. So this one is kind of a more advanced course, really again focusing on problem solving in physics. And so the fall term here is going to focus on problem solving in mechanics. Okay. So, okay. Or is this one? Okay, sorry, I'm figuring out the slides a little bit on my end, having a little bit of trouble. Okay, so next is our fall computer science courses. So we have here 2 classes we're offering the fall. The first one is a Python programming. This is an introductory programming class. The language we picked is Python. We think Python is a really up-and-coming language. It's very easy. The syntax is easy for students to learn. So we like starting students off learning Python, and we feel that our Python programming class is a perfect way to start learning about computer science, start getting a little bit more of an idea of how computers work, how programming works. And so this will give them a leg up if they want to go on and take AP computer science courses later on in their high school career. Any type of programming background you have is going to give you a leg up later on in your computer science career. And the other class is an algorithms class. This is a special topics in algorithms. We actually had an introduction to algorithms class this summer. This isn't really a continuation. Students can jump in the special topics. We're going to do fairly advanced things, so we want students to have at least some programming background. They don't necessarily have to have taken a class in algorithms before, but we're going to study different real-world scenarios. What type of problems might you want to solve in those real-world scenarios, and learn about different algorithms to solve those problems. And so this class is kind of very helpful in preparing for the USA Computing Olympiad as well, right? So we have math competition prep, physics competition prep, and then this algorithms course will help with the Computing Olympiad as well. Okay, so lastly, we have our winter boot camps, right? So these are face-to-face, week-long intensive training camps, and it's a great way to interact kind of with your instructors, with other advanced, motivated students, right? So there's a great social aspect that these camp programs provide. And so our 2 winter camps we've announced so far. First one is in Portland, Oregon, December 19th to the 23rd. And the second is in Irvine, California from the 26th to the 30th. And so signups are open now. We have the early registration ending later this month. And so now is a great time to kind of get more information about these camps. And we would love it if you guys could sign up and get that early bird discount as well. So really quickly, I want to talk a little bit about, right, so our courses are available both as live classes, right? So live classes, we have small classes done online so you can interact with the instructor, right? Very much like we have now. We have the video, audio, we have interaction with the chat, with the whiteboard as well. So for younger students, right, one of the things they always like is we have little emoticons we can put on the screen, right? So we can draw on the screen. We'll actually we can give students access to the whiteboard as well, so they can kind of share their work and present their solutions to problems. So we have a great kind of interaction between teachers and students that way as well. After the course, we'll have homework for the students that will be graded. They'll be able to review their homework. They'll be able to watch recordings of the videos whenever they want to kind of make sure that they get the topic of the week, all available through our class management site that I'll briefly mention a little bit later. So we really like the live classes. Of course, it's not always possible for people to kind of, whether it's schedule or how busy you are, maybe you want to work a little bit slower, you want to work a little bit faster. We also offer all of our classes as self-paced. So this gives you the video lectures from the previous year, so where it's always our most up-to-date material that we have. And you get access to all the videos, all the handouts, all the homework, as well as answers for checking your work as well. And then you always can ask questions. We have online forums set up through the class management site to get questions from our instructors, from the people who taught the classes or created the curriculum. We're all available to help students behind the scenes as well, even if they're taking the class as a self-paced course. Okay, so little bit of kind of our guarantee, right? Of course, we always, when you start out, you may not know exactly what class is the best fit for your student. So we're always willing to work moving people into harder classes, into easier classes, from self-paced to a live class. If schedules change, anything like that, we're happy to help figure out the best fit for anybody, any of our students. And we also kind of offer 2 classes, up to 2 classes risk-free. So if something doesn't work out, if we can't figure out a fix, as long as you tell us within 3 business days of the second class, you can get a full refund for the course. So we went through a lot of stuff quickly, so I just want to point out where you can kind of review this information on the website as well. Right, so Cameron mentioned the website before, right? One of the tabs is the course tabs. And so then if you click on live classes as well, you can get more information about the live classes. And then, right, in the live classes link, we have a schedule of all of the classes, right? So this is just a couple of the classes. You'll notice if you squint really well or can see the image here. Otherwise, if you go to the website, you'll see the full schedule of the terms. You'll see what days the classes are, what times the classes are. If we skip any classes due to holidays, everything's here on the live schedule. So it's a great way to kind of see, make sure the class fits in your schedule. After you register, you can always come back here to check the schedule and stay updated that way as well. So we have two kind of main sites linked on the front page. So in the upper right of our thing, we have a registration link and a My Classes link. So we have a registration site, register.areteem.org, class management site, classes.areteem.org. So the registration site is how you register for the classes. I'll show a picture of what that looks like in a second. But the other one I want to mention is the class management site. Once you register, you will get an account at that site. And this is where the student will have access to all the recordings, all the material, homework, schedules available there. So that's kind of the one-stop shop. Once you're registered for a course, everything you can need to access the course, the forums as well if you want to ask questions, everything's there. So that's a great site, a great resource for the students who are taking the live classes or self-paced classes as well. Right, so as I mentioned, the registration site, just so you have an idea of what it looks like, this is where, again, you'll have a list of all of the different programs available, classes, camps, books, right? A lot of you registered for this event, this webinar from this website as well, so this should look familiar to you. And this is kind of the place to go back to if you decide to register for one of the courses or camps in the future.